welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Elimination Chamber 2015, which is taking place in May for whatever reason, preview and predictions.
What's going on, guys? John, a.k.a. Vocal Aggression here with Elimination Chamber 2015 preview and predictions alongside my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And, this show is stacked. On paper, this looks to be a very solid pay-per-view. I am very much looking forward to it. One match in particular, I think, is the entire internet wrestling community talking because of its potential implications and the future possibilities that the outcome could hold. And just this whole show from top to bottom, I think, lends itself to a lot of intrigue when we get into those critical summer months of Money in the Bank and ultimately SummerSlam. So let's see what this show's got in store for us, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the weird thing about this show is that the only thing that's announced right now for the kickoff is Miz TV with Daniel Bryan. And not only do we not know why this is happening, but we don't even know if Bryan is coming back to say that he has a timetable or just kind of tell people, hey guys, I'm still hurt and I don't know when I'm coming back, just like he always seems to do. I don't know. So, John, let's just get a little bit of speculation going here. What do you think the purpose of this segment is?
Honestly, I feel like the purpose of this segment may be calling out whoever the future Intercontinental Champion is, which I think only lends further credence to what I think is ultimately going to emerge from that Chamber of the Champion, but I'm obviously going to save that for the appropriate discussion for that match. I think Bryan may potentially have a timetable because we just saw him on TV recently before this whole Miz TV segment, and it just seems weird that he would come back again so soon when I thought he would kind of ride off into the sunset and take care of himself. Yeah.
I just thought of something.
Okay.
What is the one thing that's happened between the last time he was on television and now that changed? The circumstances have changed.
Well,
WWE is trying to advertise his DVD.
That is true. So you think this could be a promotional thing?
I think that this could be because you and I watched the preview of his DVD on WWE Network. We watched that, and it really... It's kind of trying to sort of tell the entire Daniel Bryan in WWE story, and you can't tell that story without The Miz. And now we're having Daniel Bryan on Miz TV. So I think that they're definitely going to try and at least work something about their past into this segment and probably try and use that to sell the DVD. I think that there's a possibility that he might have a timetable, but I don't think that's even a guarantee. Because to me, the WWE is shameless enough to have him come out just for the sole purpose of setting up a segment where he and Miz can kind of interact and have their tension and try and sell his DVD. That's it.
So do you feel like we're just going to see like the by the numbers antagonisms, of the Miz like taking credit for Daniel Bryan's success? Daniel Bryan maybe verbally undresses him. Maybe Miz threatens Bryan, and then maybe a babyface comes to make the save, and maybe that's our kickoff bonus match.
Maybe even Damien Sandow.
Maybe.
Macho Mando.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think you've got the more correct idea here of it being just kind of a promotional segment for the DVD, but I would really love it if we could start laying the groundwork. I mean, if we have a timetable. If we don't, then it's
that's the biggest question, though, is whether he has a timetable for when he'll be back. Because if he's coming back and being like, well, guys, I don't know when I'm coming back, it's literally just for the purpose of setting up a shill for his DVD and potentially a match with The Miz against somebody on the kickoff. But if he actually has a timetable, then that's legitimate reason for him to be showing up on Miz TV, because that would be amazing. I mean, even if he says, I got a timetable, I'm going to be able to wrestle again, but I'm going to be out for 2 years, it would be worth it.
Yeah, I mean, really, at this point, if it was just a promotional thing, like, hey, guys, I'm here to plug my DVD, it would seem so vacuous and ultimately so pointless. Like, I would actually be irritated, considering that we just saw him recently and he made that emotional plea of, you guys deserve a fighting Intercontinental Champion. I don't know when I'm going to be back. And then we see him again so soon. After the emotional poignancy of that prior segment, just for him to promote a DVD, I would hope that there's something a bit more substantive at the end of the line, even if it's, again, just giving a warning to the next Intercontinental Champion and putting forth a timetable. I would be ecstatic. But if it's just trading verbal barbs with The Miz, Again, I've gone back to not really caring so much about The Miz since this whole feud with Miz now, because it doesn't really seem like I don't know what he's doing right now. So yeah, it would just seem kind of pointless to me.
All right, now, once we actually get to the main show, which of the 2 Elimination Chamber matches is opening the show?
I actually said the Intercontinental Championship Chamber, believe it or not.
And I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I think if depending on how they want to go about it, because there are 2 sort of different options. If they want to get the Elimination Chamber matches both done next to each other so that they can just leave the chamber down and they don't have to pull it back up, they'll do just boom, boom, Intercontinental, then tag. The other possibility I could see them doing is Intercontinental, then Neville versus Bo Dallas, then tag, then Cena Owens, then Divas, then the main event.
Right.
Those are the 2 options. I think really the only thing that's going to change is the first 3 matches, because it's either going to be boom, boom, chamber, chamber, then Neville, Bo Dallas, or it's going to be chamber, Neville, Bo Dallas, chamber. But regardless, I think that we can agree that the final 3 matches are going to be Cena Owens, the Divas Championship, and Rollins Ambrose.
And I would agree with that, yes.
Okay. For the sake of this commentary, we're going to discuss Cena Owens second last, because that's the second biggest match on this card. I would even argue that it may be the biggest match on this card, because I don't think when we get to the WWE Championship, I don't think that there's going to be any kind of real disagreement on that. But we'll, just because it is the WWE Championship, we'll still save it for last. But to start things out, let's talk about the only match on this card other than Cena Owens that does not have any kind of title implications. Neville, Bo Dallas. It's pretty clear to me that Neville's going to win this.
And see, I disagree. I think Bo Dallas is going to get the win here. It's funny to me. I mean, I don't blame everybody, but like everybody's picking Neville to win this.
Well, that's because they're actually protecting Neville.
And that's true. They are, but at
the
only
only
same time,
matches that he has lost so far were against huge names. He didn't even lose to John Cena.
And that's true. That's very true, but I feel like they're giving Neville this injury to go in with so that Bo Dallas has a cheap way to win that still keeps Neville protected. Like, 100%
you know what?
Adrian Neville could have,
If this was any other promotion, I would agree with you, but this is the WWE, and in the WWE, injuries aren't excuses for babyfaces to lose. They're obstacles for them to overcome.
And I think you have a legitimate point, but still, I just find it weird that this match is happening, and I think people are jumping the gun a bit too much that Neville is going to win. So, I mean, the way I see it, honestly, I could see it. Bo Dallas wins this match. They have a rematch, because you know that one of my Raw requests on a past Raw 12 is that we do Money in the Bank qualifiers. If we do that, Neville and Bo Dallas again, Money in the Bank qualifier, and that's when Neville gets his win, when the stakes are actually in place. Because this is just a by-the-numbers matchup.
You know what, John? I love that idea, and I would love it if the WWE would do that, but I think that the biggest problem right now, as far as what we're looking at, is that we don't even know if they're even going to have Money in the Bank qualifiers. I would love it if they would, and I agree with you that that would be a great story, but we don't even know. When was the last time they even did that? 2012?
I think 2012. You might be right about that.
So what exactly is the reason that they would go back to doing that now, just because you want it?
And that's true, but I think at the same time, I've also said to you in conversation, I think WWE, while they're protecting Neville, they want to be careful with the rate at which they push him, because they know how finicky crowds can be.
Is Bo Dallas really the kind of win that would make crowds turn on Neville, though?
I don't necessarily know. I mean, I'm not going to say one way or the other, because he's been on such a roll lately that I think they kind of want to pull it back. I mean, yeah, he's been holding his own with some of the biggest names, and I mean, he just got done. Well, I mean, he had John Cena beat.
I thought you were talking about Bo Dallas.
No, I'm talking about Neville.
That's my thing, though. It's like, what reason would there possibly be for Bo Dallas to win this match?
That's why I think they have the injury in place, like I said at the beginning. But then you're all like, well, WWE injuries are something for babyfaces to overcome. I disagree here. I think that injury is going to be the reason Bo Dallas capitalizes.
I guess here's my thing. If Bo Dallas would win, would I be surprised? Maybe a little. But I would be really, really, really annoyed. And to me, it makes absolutely no sense for you to take this absolutely white-hot babyface that you just brought up from NXT. He took Seth Rollins to the limit, had John Cena beat, and now he's going to lose to Bo Dallas because of a little bit of a knee injury? Are you kidding me right now?
I mean, look, hey, man, I don't even disagree with you. If you want my honest opinion, I feel like Neville should be in the Intercontinental Championship chamber, because I guarantee
And I agree with that, but from what I understand, they're replacing Rusev with Bray Wyatt.
And see, like, if Rusev really does get replaced, which that does seem to be the route they're going, I wish they could have made Bo Dallas Neville a chance to get that final spot in the chamber, and then you could have Neville win.
That would have made a lot more sense. Again, I think the Bray Wyatt thing might just be internet rumor. I don't know if WWE's actually announced that yet, but I don't know.
Bray Wyatt I can only forgive, and I mean, I really should be saving this for the other discussion, but because he's doing the whole thing with Ryback. But getting back to Neville, Bo Dallas, I mean, there aren't any stakes here. I think it's just to kind of give Bo Dallas a little something. Neville's injured, so they have the out. I'm giving Bo Dallas the win here.
I guess that's my thing, though, is why would the WWE even want to give Bo Dallas something? Like, what, even just a little speck of reason could you possibly have to believe that the WWE wants to start investing in Bo Dallas again?
I don't know. You know, I can't even really answer that. It's just one of those feelings I have that they've got this injury in place. Bo Dallas is going to capitalize, and he gets the win.
That just blows my mind that anyone would really... to me, it's like, even if there is a chance Bo Dallas might win, to me, it makes the most sense to pick the guy who you can imagine winning 99 times out of 100. And to me, Neville wins 99 times out of 100. You're betting on the 1 out of 100 to me.
I mean, what's so weird is that you and I really aren't even, I mean, besides the outcome, obviously, like, your reasoning, I don't disagree with your reasoning. I don't contend your reasoning.
But then again, though, I have to wonder, why are you betting on the 1 out of 100?
Again, well, I don't really know what else to tell you, dude. Like, I gave you my reasons, like the whole injury and everything. Like, I just feel like Bo Dallas is going to slip out of the back door. It's happened, you know? So,
I know it's happened, but it's Neville. It's Triple H's guy. They're protecting him like crazy, and an injury isn't enough to protect him from a loss to somebody that most people see as a joke.
Well, and see, that's just a commentary. Knowing JBL or somebody, they'll probably even make a line about that. Well, you know, Neville was just 100%, and that injury made all the difference in the world, and Bo Dallas will do his little lap around. I don't know. And then they have a rematch, and then Neville, I'm sure, will dominate or whatever. But,
I mean, I guess I could see maybe like Neville winning via roll-up, and then Bo Dallas destroying his knee afterwards, and then doing the victory lap. But I can't rationalize Bo Dallas winning, and I'm not even necessarily talking picking Bo Dallas to win. I'm talking about if I am somebody who's writing for WWE or somebody who is booking these matches, I don't understand how somebody in their right mind could rationalize, even if it's the flukiest of hiccup wins, Bo Dallas beating Neville in any way, shape, or form. I think Neville could have just gotten dropped off a frickin' backhoe, and Bo Dallas just ate a senzu bean, and I still wouldn't be able to rationalize Bo beating Neville in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, I'm just visualizing Neville on that top rope, going for the red arrow, lands on his feet, but then he's got that jolt because of that injury, and Bo Dallas just stacks him up and gets the victory. I don't know. Like, we've seen this kind of stuff before. Neville is...
And I'm imagining Bo going for the Bo Dog, and Neville throws him, and that's literally just the impact from being thrown off of the top rope because of him coming off the top rope to do the Bo Dog, climbing across the ropes to do the Bulldog thing. That's enough to put him in place for the red arrow, and that's it, and it's over.
Right. I mean, we'll see. I mean, again,
I hope that I'm right in this case. And normally, when I pick someone that I'm really bitter about, I'm like, John, I hope you're right, and that kind of stuff. But man, if you're right about this, I'm not even going to be mad at you. I'm going to be so pissed at the WWE for thinking that it's okay for somebody like Neville to lose to somebody like Bo Dallas, even with the injury.
I mean, I'm huge on Neville. I mean, you've seen my posts on Bleed Up. I want that kid in Money in the Bank this year. I think it's a travesty he got passed over for Elimination Chamber. I mean, about that.
It's funny because if you go back to, I forget who it was. I mean, you know what? I'm going to look it up. But somebody posted a comment on one of my older videos today, yesterday or the day before or something. It was my 5 Fave 5s video that I made a while back. And the comment was, I don't even remember exactly what the comment was, but what I do remember is then I ended up going back and just listening to bits and pieces. And I was talking about how if the WWE brings back a cruiserweight division, they could build the entire division around Neville. And
yeah,
like, I don't know. I almost feel like that's almost where they're going with the Intercontinental title. It was Uli Enigma World Enigma that posted it. He said something about how Pac is Neville now, right? And he saw on YouTube a Dragon Gate match between Pac and Ricochet because now it would be Neville and Prince Puma.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, that like just the idea of they're kind of turning almost, and obviously now Sheamus is going to freaking win the Intercontinental title and completely kibosh everything that I just said, but they're almost turning the Intercontinental title into the Cruiserweight title, and that they're kind of making it like a work rate title. They put it on Daniel Bryan, and they've got guys like Ziggler working to try and win it and that kind of thing. But I don't know, man. It's just I feel like Neville, like it's one of those things where I've got this like Jenga tower built up of faith in Triple H to politic enough backstage so that his guys, you know, Neville, Zayn, Owens, Balor, and Hitami get their due, get protected, don't get the Vince McMahon NXT to WWE treatment where they win some and then lose some and then nobody gives a crap about them anymore. I've got this Jenga tower of Triple H faith built up. And if Neville loses this match, it might just come tumbling down.
And you know what? That's why because I don't even want us to take the chance. I'm sorry. I can't ignore that injury. I just feel like that's going to play a pivotal moment in this match. I can't push it out of my mind. And really for that reason, I've got to stick with Bo Dallas. I want Neville to win though because the kid's too hot to do this to him. I think he's going to become, if he's not already, like one of the top baby faces on the product, and especially with Kevin Owens on the tear that he is, you could have some major money in the future between a feud between those two on the main roster, without question. And I want us to get there, and you get there by getting wins like this, and then again propelling him to Money in the Bank next month. Screw the idea of a rematch, have him get the win here, and move on to bigger and better things. Because when you have a guy that comes with an eyelash of beating John Cena, I agree with you. The fact that a Bo Dallas a little while later can come in and beat him, injury or not, leaves a really bad taste in the mouth. Yeah. So I hope I'm wrong, but I just got to go with my gut, bro. I'm sorry. I got to say Bo Dallas gets the win.
I understand it. I hope you're wrong, and I've never hoped you were wrong more than I am right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you and me both, brother.
I like it when you're right most of the time because it gets us points as a tag team, but I really hope you're wrong about this one.
Definitely.
All right. Well, you know what? Just because, I mean, here's the thing, guys. When we talk about NXT shows, we save the Divas title, the women's title, for last, if not second last. But this is the WWE, and Nikki Bella is our champion. So let's talk about the Divas Championship next, because that literally is probably the next least important match on this show. The only reason it's not the least important match on the show is because Neville Dallas has no implications whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about this Divas match. Nikki Bella, Paige, Naomi. Now, John, last time I kind of handed you the reins and let you talk about this at first. I want to get this out of my off my chest.
Yes.
I don't think I have hated a build-up to a Divas match more than this one since probably Beth Phoenix and Natalya were the pin-up strong gimmick.
Right.
This has been there's literally nobody in this match that I like. I don't like Nikki Bella because she's this stuck-up bitch that thinks that people like her because now all of a sudden she's this baby face, even though she's still a natural heel, but she's cutting baby face promos and talking about how she's a fighting champion, all this stupid shit. I don't like Paige because now she's this petty little bitch who thinks Tamina is a man. Are you kidding me? And I don't like Naomi because she, even though she's probably the most likable of the three in this match, she's the one doing the heel tactics. She's the one talking about how I'm the best athlete in this division and that entitles me to the championship. And it's the dumbest feud I have seen in years. And the fact that this is supposed to be the WWE's idea of hashtag give divas a chance is a goddamn joke.
That's me clapping in agreement with you. For people that are actually legitimately interested in women's wrestling that WWE has to offer, watch every NXT live special, just ever. And, you'll get there.
And watch the last episode of NXT of 2014.
Yes. Thank you, Ashton. You remember that one. I think it's a travesty that, and you're right, though. That's the thing. That you and I, and I'm sure others would say, while in ring we may love Paige, I just don't like her personality. And that's a shame.
And it's a character thing. It's a gimmick thing because she didn't have this obnoxious, stuck-up, prissy personality in NXT.
No, she did not.
So it's a writing thing, it's a gimmick thing, and I think that what annoys me the most about this is the fact that we've seen what Paige can do in NXT. We know what NXT Paige looks like, and now we're getting to see the main roster's vision of Paige. And I never, ever, ever want the 4 horsewomen to go up to the main roster if this is what's going to happen to them.
I shudder to think about it. No, you and I are in complete
And
agreement.
if they do, I want them to be like the Shield, where the 4 of them go to Vince's office and say, "Screw you, man, we're not doing this."
Definitely. They got to stand up for themselves. And here's the thing, and I don't mean to be,
And that's another thing, too. That's another thing, too, with the whole Neville versus Bo Dallas thing. I am trying so hard to convince myself that Triple H is really standing up for the people that he believes in. And Neville's one of those guys, and the women of NXT are kind of in that same group. So if Neville loses, that scares me even more for the women of NXT.
Definitely. I think it has farther reaching implications than people may realize on its face. Because, there is that whole power struggle of Dunn, McMahon, Triple H, that whole thing. As far as this match goes, to keep everything in context, I'm not going to rant and rave here and get on my Naomi pulpit. Everybody knows that I want her to be Divas Champion. Everybody and their mother knows it, so I'm not going to waste anybody's time. I agree with you about Paige being unlikable. I really haven't been able to get into Paige for a while now in the main roster. And again, it's not even her fault. She is so good, but I just think it's a writing thing.
You know what else, John? And it's something that they did a really good job of covering up in NXT. She is not good on the mic at all.
No.
Like, if I had to rate her skills, in ring, she's a solid 9 out of 10. On the mic, she's like a 5.
I was even going to say 4. You were nicer than I was.
I was being generous. I was thinking 4 or 5. I rounded up just because I wanted to give her more credit than I feel like she really deserves, man.
And I'm sorry, I don't want to offend our boy, Gordon Masson, because I know he's a big, Bella fan, but I'm sorry, Nikki Bella as a face is a freaking joke.
You know what, though? Here's my thing, John, and Gordon's going to love this, too. I think Nikki Bella is probably the best overall performer in this match.
And I would agree with that. Like, that doesn't even make me cringe or whatever.
And that's the thing, though. Like, that's not necessarily a good thing, because Nikki Bella isn't one of the best performers in this company. Paige is a better performer than Nikki Bella, but the current version of Paige is shit.
Yeah, she really sucks. And I'm sorry, like, I could get invested in the Bellas more, even when they're bad, because they've had bad moments as heels too, right? It's not like they're perfect as heels, but even their bad moments as heels, I feel like are more bearable and more entertaining than their cringe-worthy moments as baby faces. And
you know what the worst part about the Bellas as baby faces is?
The idea that they think that they're fighting champions or whatever when they're really not, because they're really not.
No, I mean, that's bad, but I mean the worst part.
What's the worst part to you?
Whoever is not in the match. If Nikki's in the match and Brie's not, come on, Nikki! Shut up!
I still haven't gotten over that title defense at Extreme Rules where Brie had to get involved for Nikki to finally beat Naomi, only to string Naomi's claims even more. That like,
and Nikki is trying to claim that she's a baby. Well, not claim, but she's acting like she's a baby face now.
Dude, I just hate the whole goddamn thing. But if people want to know my opinion of the finish, and again, this isn't me trying to get on my pulpit or anything, I do think Naomi is finally going to win the championship pinning Nikki Bella because...
You know what sucks, John?
What's that?
I have wanted Naomi to be the Divas Champion for so long now. I don't even want her to be the Divas Champion in this version of herself.
I know, man.
I want frickin' WrestleMania 30 Naomi back.
Yeah. Just take away the Funkadactyl and just be that athletic baby face. I mean, I know it's not much of a gimmick, but yeah.
See, and that's another thing, too. I absolutely hate that now all of a sudden they're acknowledging Naomi's athleticism, and that's supposed to make her entitled to a Divas Championship. If that's the case, then why was Shelton Benjamin never the world champion? Because he wasn't charismatic. And Naomi cuts a hell of a lot better of a promo than Shelton ever did. But she has a terrible gimmick. And the worst thing about this whole thing is, I think, and this is the really thing, who are we supposed to cheer for? Now, I know you're cheering for Naomi, and I get that. But who are the fans supposed to get behind?
And
are we supposed to get behind Paige, who's making fun of Tamina for being manly looking even though she's not? Are we supposed to get behind Naomi, who is easily the heeliest heel of these three heels? Are we supposed to get behind Nikki, who had to cheat to beat Naomi the last time they faced for the Divas? Like, who are we supposed to like? I don't like any of them.
And that's a legitimate question, because here's the thing, right? Obviously, I'm only doing Naomi because I've been a big-time Naomi fan. Like, I'm markdom level. So that's just me. But when you're talking about the casual audience that haven't been doing this as long as you and I have and don't do all the things that you and I do, it's hard, because you're kind of sitting there and you're like, where do I lend support? Like, it's almost like you should have a sign above the audience for when each diva comes out so you know whether to applaud or boo, just so you get a clearer picture, because I don't know. Really, to me, I guess if we had to pick, I'd guess Paige, because I think you're supposed to sympathize
and that's the
with her.
crappy thing, too, is because she cut that freaking promo on SmackDown calling to me a man, and I'm just like, I don't want to cheer for you now.
Yeah. I think we're supposed to feel.
And then the worst part of it wasn't even necessarily that. She turns around when Naomi said, "Oh, I'm the best athlete in this division. I'm going to win the title." She turns around and says, "Oh yeah, you can be the best athlete in the world, but what you don't have is personality." Paige, honey, I love your in-ring work, but the biggest weakness that you have right now is your talking, your personality, your gimmick, your everything involving the actual performance part that isn't in between those ropes. You're lacking right now. And I know you can do it because I've seen you do it in NXT. But goddamn, you can't call someone else out for having no personality when yours is shit right now.
I think this is the hottest I've ever seen you in quite some time over a matchup.
Well, that's because I thought that things were finally turning around a little bit, man. I thought, okay, we have this great NXT women's match. We might be having an NXT women's match main eventing a live special. Nikki Bella is the champion. She's a heel, so it makes sense. Paige is back. I'm thinking she's coming back and she's going to beat Nikki for the title. And then all the shit hits the fan and nothing is good anymore. And it's like, I just want to crawl into my little NXT hole and hide away there for the next 6 months. I don't even know.
Can I just say as a quick aside, I don't think I'll ever get used to like certain promos on the main roster being like, oh, well, what you don't have is a personality, as if almost like kind of peeling back the curtain a little bit. Like, oh, you'll never be over because you don't have this. Whereas in NXT, it's pretty straightforward. You know, it's like you and I are facing up. This is my story. This is your story. This is my time. I'm going to beat you. I feel like Becky Lynch and Sasha did that very well recently.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just... Guys, again, NXT. I don't even
I think that what really sucks is that it feels like they're trying to do almost like a work shoot style of promo with these girls, and it's failing more miserably than anything I've ever seen.
And see, that doesn't give me, like, I was excited.
And I think what annoys me the most is that we're apparently the only ones that don't like it, because I've listened, I actually seeked out SmackDown reviews, and I didn't hear anybody talking about how awful that entire exchange was between Paige and Naomi.
And I think, you know, it saddens me because, you know, I was so excited with Naomi's initial turn because I thought it was, like, fresh, it was different. I really thought, like, oh, great, Naomi Paige summer feud. But after seeing, like, how they're interacting with each other, if this is going to be the feud over the Divas Championship over the summer, like, what I've wanted for Naomi for so long, like, I'm really beginning not to care anymore because I'm thinking, like, this is just how bad everything is. So, ultimately... And Naomi does what she does best, and that's pinning Bella's, and she gets the win, and then Paige has her claim to a rematch because she never got her one-on-one match, and she wasn't pinned in the triple threat. So that's the outcome I see. So now I'm really curious, because you just let it all fly, you know, your frustration and everything. Who do you see going over?
Paige.
I thought so. Okay, there we go.
And again, it comes back to the WWE, as idiotically written as she has been. The WWE does see her as the hero in this story. I don't know how. I don't know why. I guess it's because she won the right to face Nikki for the title and then ended up getting beaten up and wasn't around. But she, I think, is going to be the one to end Nikki's reign and kind of like a ding-dong, the witch is dead moment, even though apparently now Nikki's a face, so that doesn't even make sense. Maybe she'll pin Naomi, just because apparently the WWE's racist enough to do that.
Dude, if Nikki Bella retains, I can take Paige winning, but if Nikki retains,
I could see that happening too. I could easily see Nikki Bella retaining, and then it takes like a one-on-one match or even a multiple-person match where Brie is actually involved in the match, so she can't be interfering from the outside. Something like that. Maybe Nikki might even hold the title until SummerSlam. I don't know.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I know. Well, that's the thing. That my thing is, if Nikki Bella retains tonight, tomorrow night. It's currently almost 10 o'clock at night on Saturday, so it's not tonight. But if Nikki retains, I think that Sasha and or Charlotte are debuting, and whoever it is, if it's both of them, it'll probably be Charlotte just because of the name. They're taking the title off of Nikki at SummerSlam. That's my prediction. But I think Paige is going to win the title here tonight.
Honestly, like, I'm a much bigger Sasha fan than I am Charlotte fan, but either one of you, please, one of us save us if that happens. Good
It's
Lord.
not going to make a difference with the same damn writers.
No, it really isn't. Oh my God. All right, let's move on. I'm getting depressed.
I've actually, because here's the thing, on Reddit, yesterday being Friday, someone on Reddit posted this really cool sort of thought experiment where there's a website that you can go where you make just a gigantic list of people in no particular order, and then you get as many people to play this little game as you can. And the little game is basically just one-on-one. Who do you like better, or what do you like better, or what do you think is better between the two? And it's constantly just 1 versus 1, 1 versus 1, 1 versus 1. And over time, gradually, this database keeps up, and it tells you which entity wins the most of their one-on-one matchups, and it gives you a list from best to worst. And they did it on Reddit for male wrestlers in WWE and female wrestlers in WWE. And number one on that list, with the person that won, I think it was like 85% of her matchups, was Paige. And I'm sitting here thinking, I love Paige, but she has not been the best diva on the roster for the last, 3 months, at least.
Yeah, it's been a rough
And it got
time.
me to thinking, how would I rank the divas right now? So I actually thought it out, and I gave myself a little bit of a tier system. All right?
Okay.
S rank would be Sasha and Becky, and that's it.
Yeah.
A
Wow.
plus rank would be Paige. A rank would be Natalya and Alicia Fox. And then you go down to A minus, and you've got Bayley and Charlotte and Emma.
All right, sounds great.
And everyone below that is not quite cutting the line. But that's kind of how I see the landscape of the WWE right now. Sasha and Becky are on a level above everyone, and then right below them is Paige, based exclusively on what I know she can do, not necessarily what she currently is doing. If I based her grade on what she's currently doing, she probably wouldn't even be in the A range. But then right beneath them, it's Natalya and the 4 horsewomen of NXT.
Right.
Well, the other two of the 4 horsewomen of NXT. But yeah, it's just a shame to me that, knowing the way the WWE is, rather than bringing girls up that are on the main roster to the level of the girls that are currently in NXT, they're going to just drag the girls from NXT down. It's the crabs in a bucket effect. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I haven't.
I don't know exactly what the name of it is. I'm sure there's a fancy name. But it's the crabs in a bucket effect. If you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, none of them will ever escape, because as soon as one tries to get out, the other crabs will see it getting out and grab it by the leg and pull it back in, because if they can't get out, then neither can anyone else. And that's exactly what the WWE is doing with the main roster divas. If the main roster girls can't be great, then neither can the NXT girls when they get called up to the main roster.
And that really blows, because you read that four horsewomen roundtable,
Yeah.
and you hear about their hopes and dreams, and you realize, and it's not even being an asshole, because you want it for them too, but you realize it doesn't matter.
No.
None of it matters. And that really sucks.
I think the shittiest part about it is that we've been hearing so much over the course of the last few months about how the WWE, and specifically Triple H with NXT, they're trying to recondition the audience so that Divas matches are meaningful again, so that people don't consider Divas matches to be a piss break anymore. They're trying to sort of retrain their audience to see that women's matches are important and they're worth watching. And if you're watching NXT, you're getting that memo, and then you're getting a mixed signal, because the WWE's main roster is saying, do you think Divas matches matter? You're hilarious. Go screw yourself, guy.
And that's, if this message is really going to prevail, I think you pretty much said it in a nutshell. What it needs is consistency.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be enough when it's just NXT. We need to see this on Raw, SmackDown, and especially pay-per-views.
Yeah, that's the big thing right there, because NXT, very rarely do they have a 10-minute women's match on NXT television. But when you get to those live specials, they are all between over 10 minutes. I shouldn't say between because some of them have gone over 15. I was going to say between 10 and 15, but some of them have gone over. So all of them are over 10 minutes. All of them have meaning. All of them tell a full story. All of them get time. And all of them, since I want to say the second one, all of them since the first takeover have been semi-main event. And I don't mean semi-main event as in piss break in between the two actual main events. I mean actual semi-main event.
Yeah, and pretty soon it may be the main event of a future special with
Exactly.
all the talk I've been hearing.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are. I mean, pun, I guess, totally intended. They really are taking over as far as NXT is concerned, but it's just a shame that the siege really does end when they get to the main roster.
It's
because
pathetic. It really
is.
But
yeah,
this is going to be our longest preview and predictions video in months, if not years.
Yeah, really.
Because we're 2 matches in, and we're already over a half hour. So let's talk next. By the way, we both got our predictions in for that. You said Naomi, I said Paige. So are we set for that?
Yes.
All right, next let's talk about the, I'm going to say tag team Elimination Chamber match. This is interesting because it's going to be all teams in pods. I wonder, are our tags going to be necessary since it's basically a no DQ match, or is it going to be tornado tag rules?
I think it's going to be tornado tag rules.
And so. I think we kind of found out that it's like a one fall thing where if one of your people gets eliminated, the whole team is out.
That's correct.
Okay, so it's like a weak link kind of thing where the weakest link is going to be the one that causes you to get pinned. So can we just straight up say there's no way they're winning about the Ascension and Los Matadores?
Absolutely.
Okay, are there any other teams in this, though, that there's no way they're going to win? Because I don't think there are.
Yeah, I really can't rule out anybody else.
Because I think New Day retaining is a legit option. Lucha Dragons getting the win. I think they're the least likely out of the remaining 4, but it wouldn't surprise me if they got the titles just to kind of get that fresh, like, exciting tag team that can put asses in seats because everyone wants to see the crazy high flyers. Kid and Cesaro winning. I heard that apparently they're going to be getting single pushes towards the end of this year. That could be amazing. But I don't know if maybe do we want to cross Kid and Cesaro off?
See, I personally would, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like they've had their program with New Day, so we just kind of write them off.
All right, so we're down to 3. So it's New Day, Lucha Dragons, and the Primetime Players. And I personally, there's this, like, you know how you have that gut feeling about Bo Dallas going over Neville and it makes no sense to you, but you still think it's going to happen?
Absolutely.
That's how I feel about PTP, man. I think they're going to win this. All of the logic in my brain is saying New Day's retaining. There's nothing exciting that's going to happen in this match except for, I mean, obviously the actual in-ring is going to be amazing, but nothing exciting as far as the result goes. New Day retains, and they're probably going to get into a program with PTP, if I had to guess, but they're probably going to retain. But there's just that little, like a twisting knife in my stomach that's saying PTP's winning.
I'll tell you this right now. You thinking PTP's winning is far more logical than me thinking Bo Dallas is going to win his match for 2 reasons, in my estimation. One, these guys... make that 3 then. 1, the reaction. 2, they've said from the jump, they have gotten back together to do what they could not do, and that is win the tag team championships. Consider that what I would call the Primetime Players' mission statement. That is their mission statement. We are back together to win the tag team titles. And 3, what I've mentioned recently, Titus O'Neil was recently Celebrity Dad of the Year.
Yeah.
WWE loves PR. They love that shit. So do I think PTP is going to win? Personally, no. I am going New Day retaining. However, now let me qualify this. PTP is going to be the last team eliminated, and that's going to be New Day's next feud. So
I agree with that.
Day,
I agree that those are going to be the last 2 teams.
Yeah, definitely.
That's one thing that I can completely get behind. I completely agree with that. I just have this nagging gut feeling that PTP is going to pull out the upset. And I think... And you know what? Now that I think about it, if PTP does win, I don't even know if I think that the New Day is going to be the last team remaining. It could easily be Cesaro and Kid. It could easily be the Ascension. I could see even, because to me, if the New Day is not retaining, they're getting eliminated first.
See, and I'm just not sure about that, dude.
The only reason I say that is because if they don't retain, it's going to get played up to Xavier Woods being the weak link of the team.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to ask you, are you going with your theory specifically that Big E won't fit in a pod and it's going to have to be Xavier Woods and Kofi?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, well, and the main reason is because they even addressed it on Monday.
What did they say exactly on commentary?
They said, it might not have been on Monday, it might have been on SmackDown, but they said something about how they don't know if Big E's going to be able to fit in that pod with another person.
Very interesting.
They said something about it. I think it was on SmackDown, now that I think about it. But yeah, like I think it's going to be Kofi, and it's going to be forced to be Kofi and Xavier Woods, and Woods is going to end up getting just obliterated and pinned right off the bat. And it's going to be this huge shocking moment where Kofi has this shocked look on his face. He's like, "What did you do?" And Woods is just like, "I don't know what just happened." And there's this moment where everyone realizes, okay, guys, let's reset the match. Whoever wins is the new tag team champions, like that kind of moment.
And you know what? Everything you're saying makes perfect sense, because it wouldn't be the first time that they've done something like that in an Elimination Chamber with champions. I just look at New Day. First of all, let me just say again, PTP I do think are surefire number one contenders. Lucha Dragons, and the risk of insulting people, because I do love Lucha Dragons, there's nothing against them. I think they're fulfilling the John Morris and Kofi Kingston kind of role in this match. They're here to make the chamber exciting.
Yep.
Nothing really more than that.
Well, you know what, though? I mean, Los Matadores and Kid and Cesaro could both fulfill that role. So it's not like the Lucha Dragons are only in this match to be the token high-flying team.
That is true, I think, to a point, but they've made such a big stink about what Kalisto could do, and then you put him in a chamber, and it writes itself.
That's true. It's more specifically just Kalisto than anything.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I love Hunico, I love Sin Cara, but man, the way that they've been pushing Kalisto, I'm almost waiting for them to break up and feud with each other.
Yeah, I definitely think that's going to happen, actually, but that's another discussion for another day. My thing about New Day, this is a team that I feel like the way they've been billed as heels, they call it the power of positivity. Man, they know how to survive. And that's why I think they're going to retain this thing. I could even see, if it is Xavier Woods, Big E, like, sliding some foreign object into the chamber or getting involved somehow, and New Day gets the win that way. These guys always find a way to win. That's kind of their, marquee as champions. That's how they've defined their title reign. I think they're going to find a way again, and it's going to be even more obnoxious because it was Xavier Woods. It wasn't Big E and Kofi. I could even see, honestly, Xavier Woods getting the winning pin, and then they just have this big parade over it. So yeah, I just think New Day's retaining. I think they're one of the hottest acts in WWE right now, which I think is huge to say because they're coming from the tag team division. I think there is still so much more mileage left in this team, and I think that PTP is kind of a perfect foil for them because they're so over. They have a charisma. It'd be a great summer feud for the titles, but I think you need strong heels to make that work, and New Day are those heels. So New Day to retain.
All right. Well, you know what? Just because I've already kind of built it up, I guess I'm just going to go ahead and go through with it and make the stupid pick, and I'm going to say Primetime Players win the tag titles.
I would not be surprised if you're right, though, dude. Don't sell it short. I think
I'm pulling a U in this, man. Again, I'm going against all logic and making the dumb pick, in my opinion.
I mean, hey, it's kind of worked for me the last few months. I mean, picking Ziggler over Sheamus at Extreme Rules, and now I just got that feeling about Bo Dallas, so I'm going with it. And you've got that feeling about PTP, and if they win, I'll say this, I'm not the biggest PTP fan, but seriously, about damn time. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Intercontinental Championship Elimination Chamber match. Can I just say, I don't think there's anyone in this match that we can write off, not even R-Truth.
Yeah.
R-Truth just pinned King Barrett, for God's sakes.
I feel so, but what the fuck?
If there is anybody in this match that we can write off and say there's no freaking way he's winning, it's Barrett.
Yeah, the freaking king of the ring is the guy that we write off. And I agree with you. That's not even like me being sarcastic, like, oh yeah, Ashton, that's no. I'm serious. How far he's fallen is almost tragic. If not just tragic, period. Really unbelievable. It's funny, Ashton, because I'm not going with it this time, right? I am ignoring it. But I have another nagging feeling. I got that a lot on this pay-per-view.
Ryback?
Not Ryback, no, even though that was kind of in my mind. Freaking Ziggler.
Yeah. Because of the Daniel Bryan thing, they kind of it sort of felt like when Bryan won that title, when there were so many other options, it could have gone to Ambrose, there were so many other options in that match that would have made more sense than Bryan. They gave it to Bryan. Immediately I smacked the label, okay, that's the work rate title now.
Exactly. And who does it better, than Dolph Ziggler?
Sheamus.
Sheamus, yeah. And that's the thing, though, because we've been saying, and I'm sorry to always do this every match. I know we probably wish the matches could be easier, but I have to say it. With Sheamus, guys have been on kind of a roll lately, and I think on this past SmackDown he laid two guys out. Now, it's kind of like my Tyler Breeze thing. The heels got all the momentum before the pay-per-view, never actually wins at the pay-per-view. Now, I'm still going with Sheamus. I'm ignoring that voice in my head, but it's there because honestly, my two favorites in this thing right now are Dolph Ziggler and Ryback, and it's crazy enough. I wish it would be Ryback.
Do you know what really sucks too?
What's that?
I had Rusev pegged for winning this thing before his injury.
Yeah. Well, you know Bray's not going to win it because he's above championships. And honestly,
Dude,
I think
nobody is above championships in the WWE right now. Not even John Cena. He's got one too.
Well, I mean, I just can't see Bray's gimmick really meshing well with the Intercontinental title. I just can't visualize it. Honestly, I think Bray exists in this match. You know, not only as a replacement for Seth.
Well, I mean, first of all, we don't know for sure if it's Bray. I mean, we're speculating that it's Bray. We think it's Bray. I don't know if there's been like an official thing saying Bray Wyatt is replacing Rusev in this chamber, but that's not a sure thing. There's still, I mean, hell, dude, you had an amazing idea earlier. They might make Neville versus Bo Dallas for a spot in the chamber.
And I would love that. And then obviously.
And if they would, I would pick Neville to win.
Oh, yeah, me too. Once stakes like that get involved.
No, I mean the chamber altogether.
Oh, the chamber altogether. Oh, I would love that, but still, like, I don't know. What should have been a foregone conclusion with Sheamus winning this thing, he's just been on such a roll lately, it's made me a bit uneasy. Because, I mean, how often do we see heels ride that wave of momentum all the way? But I am still going with Sheamus. I just think, again, it would be great if Ryback finally won a freaking title. I think he could use something to do. Dolph doesn't need that Intercontinental title. He has been down that road so many times. What new, fresh thing could we do? Because the feud with Rusev doesn't need the Intercontinental Championship. It doesn't. Because it's already about Lana and that whole thing. And I think that's enough. I know people were picking Rusev. I'm not saying this was your reason for picking them. This is just the reason I read, because they were just looking for him to kind of regain that dominance, do what he did for the U.S. title to the Intercontinental Championship. Again, I just don't see Bray if he is the replacement. R-Truth, I don't even know why he's there at all. But, I mean, he beat Barrett recently, so I guess that kind of legitimizes his spot. And Barrett's just looking like a joke. So, you know what? I'm going to say Sheamus. But honestly, I think my runner-up, just in that nagging voice, would be Ryback, in all honesty. Just got a weird feeling that he's going to bounce back, maybe, and win that Intercontinental Championship. So I'm dying to know who ultimately your pick is, because that was tough for me.
You know what's terrible, John?
What's that?
I am really tempted to pick Alex Riley's Silhouette right now. So I'm not joking. I know it sounded like a joke. I am legitimately thinking about picking whoever replaces Rusev. Like, I don't even know who it's going to be, but I have a gut feeling that that's going to be the person that wins it. I don't even know who it's going to be. It might be Neville. It might be friggin' Finn Balor for all I know. Like, I don't know.
Oh, God.
I know, but that's the thing, though. Like, I have no clue. I don't feel like anybody that's currently slated to be in the match is the favorite. Like, I think Ziggler makes a lot of sense. Sheamus makes a ton of sense. But the thing about Sheamus is he's a heel. Heels rarely win in WWE. Every single heel on the main roster in 2015 has a losing record.
Oh, yeah. I think you told me that a few days ago. That's right.
Yeah, every single wrestler on the main roster who has been a heel for the entirety of 2015 has a worse record than every single wrestler on the main roster who has been a babyface for the entirety of 2015.
And see, the other thing, and again, I just want to bring up all points for discussion, and I know some of them may seem nonsensical. I'd also love to pick Sheamus because I think to myself, well, the course is obvious here. Sheamus was gloating and actually got his spot in the chamber because he claimed to take Bryan out. You put the belt on Sheamus, and you have Bryan and Sheamus, but we don't know when Bryan's going to be back.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Problem.
That's the big thing right there is if Bryan was coming back in 3 to 6 months, I would say absolutely do it. Makes perfect sense. Sheamus can run Rush Shot on everyone, and then Bryan comes back as the triumphant hero. But, man, there's something about this match says Dolph Ziggler makes sense. Something about it says Sheamus. Something about it says Ryback. I just have this gnawing feeling that whoever replaced, because Rusev, I think Rusev was originally slated to win this.
Well, he's just so dominant. Even after, the program with Cena, it was
and
John Cena.
Why would you put him in any kind of championship match? And that's another thing, too, is if he would have been in this match, he would have had to either win the match or get pinned or submitted by someone.
Right.
No one other than John Cena. No one not named John Cena is pinning or submitting Rusev right now.
Right. Because he's just been on such a roll. So injury, though, may have made that just out of the question.
Right.
And I can see what you mean, though, about pegging the silhouette, because if Rusev was groomed to win, well, why not just stick with the game plan? Whoever was set to take his place, we just work it that way. I mean, here's the thing. If it's Bray Wyatt, you just continue, to me, the program with Ryback. You make it come down to Bray Wyatt, Ryback, and you have them do, a few more matches, only this time over the Intercontinental Championship. If it's
Neville,
Sheamus and Neville for the summer, even if Neville gets the win, you have options.
Well, and then that's another thing too, is if it is Neville, then he's already in a program right now with Bo Dallas that if he wins that match to get into, that ends that program. You can start a new program with him with anyone. It doesn't even have to be Sheamus. It could be literally any. You could restart his program with Barrett. You could start a new program with him with Sheamus, like you said. Good God, we don't even know if Kevin Owens is going to still be going after Cena after tonight. You could start Neville versus Owens, and they're going to put on amazing matches. Like, you could do anything with Neville, because he will have basically a clean slate, but he'll be the champion.
You know what? It's so funny because I think emotionally I'm pulling for Ryback, because I feel like it's been that guy's time forever.
He still has never won a championship in WWE.
And honestly, this is the one time that I would be elated to be wrong about picking Sheamus and having Ryback, because I know my dear friend James would lose his shit over Ryback winning a championship, and that offsets me being wrong.
And that's another thing too with Sheamus, is he's never been the Intercontinental Champion before.
And I think they've even said, like, he would be a Grand Slam champion if you win this.
Would it be? Are they counting the World and WWE title as separate now for the Grand Slam?
I think so.
Okay.
Potentially. But I know Sheamus, regardless, he would achieve something big if he won the Intercontinental title, and commentary has noted that. I love the discussions we have, right? But I also hate it because, like, every time we come in, we're like, okay, all these matches are so straightforward, and then you say something or I think of something, and it just totally derails everything. So while I'm still sticking with Sheamus, god damn it, man, it's nowhere near as sure as it was coming into this thing.
And you know what? I'm sticking with my gut. I'm picking the silhouette, man. Whoever fills in for Rusev, I think, is going to win the whole thing.
So when you post your predictions on Tweetop, is it just going to be silhouette to win the Intercontinental Championship, and then in parentheses, whoever replaces Rusev?
Yeah, probably something like that. I think I'll just put whoever, the answer to who wins this match is going to be Rusev's replacement. That'll be the answer.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think this may be a first in, like, preview predictions. I mean, we rarely have these circumstances, but you're actually picking the literal wild card because we don't know what's behind that door. That is fascinating to me. Look at that.
I'm going for it, man. I'm going balls to the wall right now.
I love it, man. Look at you letting those inhibitions go like logic. I'm just going to put it all behind question mark over there.
Yeah.
And then it's Stardust.
Oh, crap. You're probably right. You know what, though? Stardust, hey, man, he's going to get some kind of push because he's going to be in a big program with that Arnell guy for SummerSlam.
Yeah. Not before eliminating our Truth in the Chamber, though, with that bag of plastic spiders. Oh, man. We'll see.
Oh, crap. Now you made me, feel stupid because it's going to be Stardust, isn't it?
No, I personally think it's going to be Bray to continue that whole program with Ryback.
I think it does come down to Bray or whoever wins Neville Dallas, which I'm thinking will be Neville, obviously.
Well, I mean, let's hope, because and then that whole introduction, I think, makes you think about the Neville, makes me think about Neville and Bo Dallas more. But, man, Chamber's going to be crazier than I originally anticipated. But what's our next match?
You tell me, man. Rollins Ambrose or Cena Owens? What do we want to talk about first?
Dude, we got to talk about Rollins Ambrose, because I have a lot to say about Owens. I think Owens deserves the main event spot.
All right.
Right now.
All right. I mean, I think that we agree that Rollins Ambrose is probably going to actually be the main event.
Yes.
But we'll do the card the way we think it deserves to be, building up from least important to most important, and we'll have Cena Owens main event. So Rollins Ambrose, to me, I mean, I love Dean Ambrose, but he's not winning this match.
No, I don't think he's winning this match. I've really enjoyed hearing your side of things, though, for every matchup. So I'm just going to ask, do you feel like it's going to be a definitive win? Do you think it's going to have the ambiguity so that maybe Ambrose finds a way in the Money in the Bank ladder match? Are we still going with Ambrose in the Money in the Bank ladder match? I'm not even going to say win anymore with some of the things that you and I have read and seen and done, but
my pick for Money in the Bank is an ever-changing, it's a revolving door. You never know. I mean, if you ask me now, I might say one person. If you ask me tomorrow, I might say someone else. But as of right now, my official pick to win Money in the Bank is Kevin Owens.
Oh, and see, I'm still on the Ambrose train, man. I still believe that somehow and I've just got this weird feeling they're kind of shifting the pieces and rearranging them over and over. And the final complete picture for WrestleMania, even if it's not the main event, which it should be the main event, is that Shield triple threat. I've just got a gut feeling.
You know what I could see happening?
What's that?
And you're going to mark out, but it's going to be one of those like false mark outs where you mark out at the thought, but you know it's not actually going to happen, so you kind of feel bad for marking out in the first place.
Okay.
Kevin Owens versus John Cena goes to a no contest, and then Kevin Owens replaces Rusev in the chamber.
Oh, that would be awesome. Because he would just murder everyone. But, you know, back to these guys.
Because that's the thing, John. The match with Cena, there's no reason for him to even be in that. There's literally no reason for him to fight John Cena because he's a prize fighter and there's no prize on the line.
Unless you consider the prize the very, namesake of John Cena. Because WWE makes such a big deal out of who he is, and Kevin Owens knows that. So maybe the prize, while it's not material, maybe it goes beyond that because, it's
That's
John
just
Cena.
my speculation, though. I'm just throwing that out there for the sake of, if it happens, you heard me say it before it happened.
And see, it's funny because I know some people, I think, even though some of the columns and things that I've read and watched, the majority, of course, is picking Rollins to win. I think some people may be looking at Ambrose as, oh, that's how we're going to get that subscriber pop. That's why I think Kevin Owens exists. I think he's already going to fulfill that function because something's going to happen in Owens and Cena, and I'm going to reserve that for when we get to that matchup. So I'm going to stay mum for a few more moments.
There is a rumor going around right now that there is going to be a big surprise at Elimination Chamber. I just have no clue what. I mean, that is kind of the big thing is they want that network by Pop, and I have no clue how they're going to get that because and not only do I not know how they're going to get it, I don't know how they think they're going to get it. Like, what are they planning to be like, all right, guys, once this happens, everyone's going to want to buy the network.
Right, yeah.
Like, what on this card could possibly become something that big?
They always do this stuff.
And the answer to me is pretty clearly Kevin Owens.
Yeah, I agree with you because I just.
So I mean, if he walks out as the dual NXT Intercontinental Champion,
maybe
that would be definitely some interesting television.
Oh, absolutely. Look,
and then you could have the Intercontinental Champion facing off with the U.S. Champion in a feud because of Owens Cena continuing. Because, like I said, no contest, obviously indecisive victory.
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But again, I have much to say about Kevin Owens and Owens Cena, but I want to save it for that match. As far as this match goes, what I'm looking for here is for Ambrose to really look like a contender in the eyes of the audience. I mean, he's already beaten Seth Rollins one-on-one, and he did pin him again recently in a tag match, so maybe that job's already done. But I'm looking for them to have a match where Ambrose really comes out of it looking like, yeah, I could be in the main event just like that.
You know what sucks, John?
What's that?
I think that if I were to rate the matches based on which ones I'm looking forward to, this would be like 4th on my list.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, I think actually that's my exact same placement because I think it's Owens Cena first.
And then the 2 chamber matches.
Yeah, tag title chamber 2nd, Intercontinental chamber 3rd, and then this 4th.
Yeah, I just don't care because, and that's my thing too, is if Ambrose wins, I'll be happy. But, like, why would you give the title to Ambrose on a random network special where you have like half the audience of a normal pay-per-view?
Right. And again, I still feel like Rollins is going to go on this tear and then be stopped by the brick wall that is Brock.
I know this is going to sound terrible, but Ambrose winning the title on this show would be the pay-per-view equivalent of winning the championship on a house show.
Yeah. I mean, I really would be, and I think Ambrose deserves better.
And this literally was going to be a house show. This show was originally, like, when people bought tickets to this show, it was just a house show. It was, oh, hey, let's go to the Sunday, May 31st Corpus Christi house show. And then it's like, oh, hey, guys, we're turning that into the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view.
Holy balls.
Talk about value on the dollar.
Yeah, but look,
I spent $20 for this ticket. Now it's worth $120.
Are these guys going to put on a great match? Absolutely. Is Ambrose going to win? Absolutely not. This is still, to me,
and I think that what sucks the most, though, is that we all know how it's going to happen. Ambrose is going to look like he's going to win, and then there's going to be authority interference, and then Rollins is going to hit the pedigree and get the pin.
And yeah, I mean, and again, like because I think it would be a great moment for Ambrose if, say, like kicks out of the first pedigree, Rollins has this shocked look on his face. They do a little more back and forth, and then Rollins hits something else, and then he gets like, I want.
You know what, John? I just thought of something, and it just completely changed my perspective on this match.
Oh, okay. What'd you think of?
Roman Reigns isn't booked for this pay-per-view.
That is true. Yeah, that's very true. So you think he might get involved in even the odds, and then maybe Rollins gets his Queen win back? Because I still don't see Ambrose winning this thing.
I don't know.
Because
I am picking Rollins, and I am sticking to that, but I am starting to convince myself that Ambrose has a chance, and it's horrible. I'm sorry.
You may be overthinking it, bro.
John, grab my hand because I really don't want to go down this path right now.
Yeah. You know what? Let's stop talking about this match. Let's get on to Owens Cena. Man, like I said, I have a lot to say. This is the match, honestly. Like this match.
Kevin Owens via ref stoppage.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do. But my feeling, John Cena via DQ. But he's not going to walk out on his own power. I'll tell you that right now. And really, for me, I was so looking forward to this matchup. This matchup, to me, for me personally, was preview and predictions.
This match has potential to be match of the year.
I believe it. I absolutely believe it. And I think, and not to be that guy, but I got to say it again. I've been reading a lot of columns, listening to a lot of people. The support for Kevin Owens and how happy people are for Kevin Owens to be in.
When Kevin Owens first got signed to a developmental deal, he was told, you're probably never going to make it to the main roster, and don't get your hopes up about being on NXT television either.
Wow. I didn't know that at all. As if I wasn't supportive enough of Kevin Owens, that just put me through the moon. This is a guy that has busted his ass. Have I followed his career all the way? No, and I've never claimed to, and I never will. But that doesn't make the story any less inspiring when you're an outsider looking in. And when you see the videos of his son reacting to him powerbombing John Cena on the canvas. Owens, in a non-kayfabe way, when we take it out of the kayfabe, he's the babyface here. Because you can't help but cheer for the guy, for how far he's come. And he's been killing it. He is the heel right now. I told you on NXT TWitWoW this past week, I love Seth Rollins to death. You know that. My desktop background is Seth Rollins, the evolution of Seth Rollins. Love the guy to death. Does not even begin to compare to Kevin Owens. And that's the truth. It really is, guys. Kevin Owens is on another level entirely.
And right there, that little comparison that you just made, is exactly why I'm picking Owens to win Money in the Bank, because I think that Owens is going to be the reason Seth Rollins gets betrayed by the Authority and turns face.
Why else would they have that little tease where Rollins had that jealous moment?
Exactly.
I don't see any other reason. I mean, here's the thing.
Because the crazy thing is, Kevin Owens is legitimately a Triple H guy backstage. He is one of the NXT 5, the 5 guys that Triple H specifically went out and recruited for NXT because he wanted to turn it into a touring brand, were Neville, Sami Zayn, Owens, Balor, and Itami. Those are the 5 guys. That's like, it's the freaking Power Rangers of NXT. They are the chosen ones. Owens is one of them. He is a legit Triple H chosen guy. Seth Rollins is a guy that I know Triple H loves, but he's not Triple H's homegrown guy.
And here's the thing, too. He's not a homegrown guy for one, but I mean,
Seth Rollins was in the system before Triple H got his hands on developmental.
Exactly. And here's the thing. If we're looking at it in an even broader context, Kevin Owens is the key to Seth Rollins becoming the top babyface.
Yep.
Because I have had my mindset for a while now.
Dude, Owens Rollins to main event freaking, I don't even know anything. Every freaking pay-per-view between SummerSlam and WrestleMania, I'm sold. I'm buying the tickets. I'm buying the network. You've got me hooked completely.
I really want people to understand that when you get Owens and Rollins in that ring, and I even said to you, because you started a thread on Tweetov about Kevin Owens winning Money in the Bank, and you remember that big substantive comment I made. Rollins is going to make Owens beating the shit out of him look like an incredibly sympathetic piece of television. In fact, probably one of the most sympathetic in recent memory, because he is going to sell that beat down bad.
Yep.
And I think his comeback is going to be met with an ovation of just such ferocity that, he is one of the top babyfaces. And also me and Gordon were talking about it. Gordon thinks the Shield's going to reunite. I told you how I'd write the Shield reunion eventually to take down the Authority, but I don't want to go too deep down that rabbit hole. I want to keep the focus on Owens. And we're talking about him doing all this. Here's my thing. I haven't really like raged or raved or gotten angry on the live reactions, or even that deflated. You know how there would be moments where I'd get super excited and then the outcome would go the opposite way and I would just have nothing to say.
If Cena wins clean.
If Cena wins clean, you're going to get one of those moments. He cannot win clean here. He can only win by DQ, and again, I wouldn't even want him to walk out on his own power. You need to make Kevin Owens look like he doesn't come to have wrestling matches. He comes to beat the shit out of his opponent for 20-plus minutes.
He needs to be the how do I put this? The full-time Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar is part-time Brock Lesnar. Kevin Owens can be the full-time Brock Lesnar.
Yes. And here's the thing. You've trusted this guy with juggling multiple feuds at once. I'm telling you, Ashton, for me, I never like to speak for anybody else, even you, maybe you disagree. But for me, if Cena were to win clean, all those other feuds don't even matter to me anymore. Yep. Because now there's no reason for me to believe that Samoa Joe won't beat the shit out of Kevin Owens, that Balor won't come and take that title off of him.
Oh, I wanted to tell you that, by the way. I think that at the next live special, Demon Balor is going to beat Kevin Owens.
And I agree. With the things I've read, and see, that's not a problem because it's Demon Balor, and that entity has its own credibility. I don't have a problem with that. John Cena, to me, he's been doing these open challenges, and everybody's been saying it, whether on AV Club, No DQ, anywhere you look. These open challenges exist because John Cena wants to convince everybody, and maybe even himself, and this isn't me trying to be a heel, that he can stick with the young crowd, that he can go and put in the work rate and have, like, these great matches.
And I think that the most noteworthy sort of moment that I can reference, Neville had him beat.
Yeah, he did.
Neville, literally, if Rusev saved John Cena's title. Rusev saved John Cena's United States Championship, because if he hadn't showed up, Neville would be your current United States champion.
Guaranteed. I completely agree. Again, I think this may be the one match above all others where you and I are just in complete unequivocal agreement, because to me, except again the outcome, you think Kevin Owens is going to get the straight up win by referee stoppage, and I would love that.
Well, and here's my thing. I don't know if they would call it by referee stoppage on the main roster, because that would feel a lot like them just straight up copying NXT TakeOver Rival, I think it was. Or no. Was it? Yeah, Rival. It was Rival. But I think that at the end of the night, Kevin Owens is going to be standing tall and John Cena is going to be getting either helped out or stretchered out.
And I hope it's stretchered out. And you know what? It's worth the price of going without those invitationals for a few weeks.
There are two different things that I want to see, either both or at least one of the two. Number one, powerbomb onto the ring apron. Number two, powerbomb through an announce table.
Oh, God. Either one of those would be beautiful. I mean, here's the thing. You have a chance.
Number three, powerbomb onto the steel steps.
There you go.
Number four, a repeat of NXT TakeOver Rival, where he powerbombs the crap out of Cena, and Cena kicks out, and then he just keeps on doing it. He just keeps powerbombing him over and over and over and over and over, and finally it gets to a point where Cena's not going to give up, but Owens isn't going to stop, and the referee just has to call the match.
I want Owens to brutalize John Cena. They gave Brock Lesnar one of the best gifts when they had him just run roughshod over Cena at SummerSlam.
That is, in my opinion, now obviously this is a controversial opinion because I'm sure that everyone's going to be bringing up other stuff. In my opinion, SummerSlam 2013, I think it was, or was it it was 2014. SummerSlam 2014 is the most memorable moment in Brock Lesnar's career.
Yeah, because he demolished him. And nobody's demolished John Cena, except maybe until now, Kevin Owens after Brock Lesnar.
And you know what? I don't think it's going to be as one-sided a match as Lesnar-Cena, because I think Cena's still going to get his stuff in. I still think he's going to do, he's still going to get the shoulder blocks and the proto bomb and the 5-knuckle shuffle, and he might even hit an AA and Kevin Owens will kick out of it. But that's going to be his only offense in this entire match, is those moves, his signature moves, and maybe some punches early on after the tie-up. But this is going to be, like, if Lesnar-Cena was 95% Lesnar offense, this is going to be 80% Owens offense.
And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that because I know WWE as well would probably want to preserve the dichotomy that they believe exists. NXT talents, main roster talents, and 80% Owens. I think that's acceptable.
But I think to me that if they were so interested in maintaining that, Neville wouldn't have gotten as close as he did.
And that's true. That's very true.
Because, I mean, I think that the WWE, as little credit as they give their fans for having a memory and being capable of remembering things that have happened in the past and being able to link characters from one brand to another, I think that they are at least aware that everybody who knew about Neville and Owens before knew that Owens sent Neville out of NXT on a stretcher.
Yeah.
And Neville took it to John Cena to the point that he had him beat.
Look, here's what it comes down to, right? You have a chance to really make Kevin Owens tomorrow night.
Dude, what if he does like what he did when he fought Neville and he's like, you were the champion for 6 months? What a joke. Just trash talking the whole time.
I want to see it. I want to see Owens.
Oh, God, I can't wait for this freaking match.
Well, that's why I wanted to save it for last, because this match is everything. You do not have a hotter guy on your roster right now
and
than
that's
Kevin
the thing,
Owens.
too. That's the thing. I was actually thinking about saying this earlier, but I forgot to say it. So I'm glad that you brought it up and you managed to make me rethink to say it. The reason that I said that this match has potential to be match of the year is because every single time either one of them goes for a cover, I'm going to be invested. Because I want so badly for the WWE to be smart enough for Owens to win this match, regardless of whether it's clean or not, or even for them to have an indecisive finish. I want it so bad. But I know that LOL Cena wins is a thing for a reason. It's a joke, but it's a joke for a reason. Just like some stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason. If every single time, like even the first AA, I might be like, oh, he's going to kick out. But then as soon as he kicks out, I'm still going to jump because I'm going to be like, yeah, finally. And every single pinfall, I am going to be on the edge of my seat, ready to explode or just get deflated.
I mean, look, for me, and I'm not even a Kevin Owens mark, okay? I'm not. I love the guy, but it's not like a markdom like a Johnny Mundo, whatever. But here's the thing. In this match, I don't care about Puitoff. I don't care about being right. I don't care about being wrong. I just want Owens to murder. I want Owens to brutalize. I want him to put himself in one match on the map, because with the things that you and I have been reading about the main roster deals and the 2 new t-shirts and carrying all these feuds and blowing up, this is his summer. He can
be everything that CM Punk was and Brock Lesnar is combined into one human being.
Yeah. I mean, I was so convinced that this was going to be the summer of Ambrose, and then Owens comes out of nowhere and he's like, yeah, I got some news for you. This is about me. In which I back down and I say, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. And he does his business. To me, it's going to just be about fight Owens fight all the way, the entire time, is what I'm going to be thinking, because Ashton's going to be invested. I'm going to be invested. And honestly, my ideal situation, Owens pins Cena clean. 2 pop-up powerbombs, hell, even 3, but he gets the pinfall.
Even 4 or 5, I don't care. Even one on the apron where Cena does his 10-count magic, where at 9 he magically pops up and jumps into the ring, and then Owens hits him with another powerbomb to end it.
Yeah, I would love a clean pin, a dominant, clean, brutal pin. The reason I picked the DQ is because of just how Owens is, and that's just in my mind, but man.
He's never been DQ'd before, though.
He's never been DQ'd before.
He has won every single match. Every single match he's either won via ref stoppage or pin, or right. it's had no finish at all, where there was no disqualification or count out or anything, and they just threw the match out.
See, now, I would only be okay with them throwing the match out if I knew we were getting some kind of a rematch or something at Money in the Bank. And personally, again, I want Owens in that ladder match. Yeah. I think Owens may be the favorite to win that ladder match. But again, that'll be for Money in the Bank preview and predictions when it all kind of shakes out.
Yeah.
Here, I just want to see Owens get made. That's all I care. I can't even really think about anything else. I can't even think about the next week, the next month, whatever. This match is so huge and so important. I've loved John Cena. I've given him a lot of praise for this U.S. title reign in the Open Invitationals. Do it one more time. Make this guy look fantastic. Don't do any of your bullshit and eat the pin. Really. because you're going to do wonders for this guy if you do, because then the Authority's going to look at him, and that's where it begins, because I guarantee you this guy is the Authority's next chosen one, and Rollins better start thinking real quick about a future, because there is no authority in his future. Not when they see what Kevin Owens is going to do to John Cena, because they're going to watch it, and Triple H and Stephanie are just going to talk amongst themselves, and Rollins just can't do that. He's never been that dominant. He's not that kind of champion.
And that's the thing, too, is if you look across the roster, you can look at the main roster, you can look at NXT, you look at every single performer that they have, there is nobody that would be considered a quote-unquote upgrade over Kevin Owens in the same way that Owens is an upgrade over Rollins and Rollins was an upgrade over Orton. Nobody.
Yeah.
So even if they would play that game where Rollins gets an Owens ear and he's like, hey, man, you're in there with the Authority, but so was I, and so was Randy, but we both got kicked out when they found the next big thing. What are you going to do when they find another new next big thing and get a little bit tired of you? There's no reason for him to be insecure, because there's no such thing as a next big thing after Kevin Owens. He is the nextest, the biggest, the thingest. I don't even know how many superlatives to use to describe his excellence, He's intimidating, he's horrifying, he's powerful, he's unstoppable. The last NXT TakeOver was literally named after Kevin Owens.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I see him getting in with the Authority. I see him being the common enemy that reunites the Shield, as I told you, because I know Rollins has the insecure moment. Owens and Ambrose kind of had a tease. They didn't even look at each other. The only person Owens hasn't interacted with is Reigns, and you better believe that's money. Because let me say this, too, as a quick aside. I am so tired of people dumping on Roman Reigns when I feel like he's really been delivering at pay-per-views lately.
Not only pay-per-views, he's been delivering on the mic and with his expressions and everything really lately.
I feel like Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens is money. That is a match I can get behind.
Yep.
I would, yeah.
And the great thing about that, too, is, and people are probably going to get on my ass for this, too, Kevin Owens is a better in-the-ring worker than Brock Lesnar. Lesnar might be more convincing just because he's so much more stiff. Owens is a better pure worker. He's more of a ring general. He's the guy that can call the match. He can help along guys that aren't as experienced. He can be that guy. Whereas with Lesnar, it's more just like, I'm going to hit you really, really hard now, and whether you want to or not, you're probably going to sell it because it's going to hurt.
Exactly. And Owens can have that same effect, but it's not really happening. And you said it best. Full-time Brock Lesnar.
Exactly. That's the big thing. They have this lightning in a bottle with Brock Lesnar, but it's such a small little bit of lightning that they can only see it every now and then. If they capture Kevin Owens' lightning in a bottle, that is the brightest goddamn bottle on the planet Earth.
And you and I have been kind of dancing around it. I mean, I said it once before. I'll say it again. I've been seeing the memes. Owens, Lesnar at a future WrestleMania. This is where it all starts.
Yep.
You demolish John Cena, because when you demolish John Cena, the Authority getting close, the reunion of the Shield, all this other stuff becomes possible.
When you demolish John Cena, everyone's already starting to compare you to Brock.
Exactly.
And when those comparisons start getting thrown out with somebody that's still on the roster, the match is inevitable.
Exactly. So, ultimately, again, despite that impassioned discussion, I still got to say, God damn it, John Cena wins by DQ, but I really hope he doesn't walk out on his own power. You're thinking Kevin Owens wins by ref stoppage, or are you going with, like, the clean victory maybe for Owens? What are you going with?
I already said ref stoppage. I literally opened up with my prediction.
Yeah. I just want to know, like, if the course of that discussion, if it changed also, you're still saying ref stoppage. And that's pretty much it, man. That's the card.
Oh, man, this was our longest preview and predictions in months, but I'll be damned if it wasn't worth it, because I feel like we had so much progress. I think that the big thing is we've had such shorter Raw TWitWows lately. Like, the last 2 or 3 episodes have all been single video episodes, because we just really haven't had that much to say, but I guess we did, and we just kind of saved it all for this.
See why we hype it? See why we do the cheap plugs? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too, is it is... both of the episodes of Raw TWitWoW that have happened since Payback were single video episodes.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where when we save our sort of preview and predictions, or speculation is really the word, as far as the pay-per-view goes, for the preview and predictions, you get stuff like this, where we went for an hour and almost 15 minutes, as opposed to most preview predictions videos, which are between 30 and 45 minutes, where we just end up having multi-video episodes of Raw TWitWoW then every week.
Right.
So That being said, guys, because of kind of everything that I just kind of ran down, I do want your opinion. Would you prefer that we get a lot of speculation out of the way during Raw TWitWoW and just have multi-video episodes of that? Or do you like the format that we're going with now, where we have hour to hour and 15, maybe hour 30 episodes of Raw TWitWoW that go for one video, and it's all just in one video, and then we just have really long preview and predictions because we kind of saved it for it. So, guys, I want you to tell me that in the comments section, which one of those two sort of formats you prefer. The multi-video Raw with shorter preview and predictions, or the single video Raw with longer preview and predictions. What do you think, John? What do you like more?
I've personally been liking this more, but hey, we listen to the will of the people, baby, so just talk down below, and you know we aim to please, so.
Absolutely. But yeah, hey guys, that being said, I guess we're done. John, what your official prediction for Cena Owens was Cena by DQ, right?
That's correct.
And mine was Owens by ref stoppage. So that's our official predictions for that. That's the last match we have to talk about. I guess we're going to close this thing out. Be sure to stay tuned, though. Live reactions tomorrow night. Raw TWitWoW, NXT, Lucha Underground on Wednesday. We have got some stuff coming up, too, in other promotions that we might be doing some live reactions to. We've been talking about maybe trying to do a live reaction per week to a certain, to a Lucha Underground match if we find one that we really want to get into and that kind of thing. So, again, just give us some feedback. Tell us what you want us to do as far as that goes. If you want some Lucha Underground live reactions before Ultima Lucha comes, because we're reacting to that entire show, let us know. And again, as far as the preview predictions format, let us know that. Until then, live reactions tomorrow. We will see you for that.